Recording in progress. ఇక్కడదే చిన్నది చేయడమే బెస్ట్. బ్యాగ్లో పెట్టుకో ఈజీగా ఉంటుంది. ఓకే అండి. గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ ఎవ్రీవన్. Online friends, can you hear my voice? Say sir no to me once. Right. So Saturday class anyway. Saturday I given a small revision, I think, and one assignment given to you. And I introduced this parse method. I introduced because being a Saturday, after reading numeric data, if we try to read string data, the data will be skipped. Why the data will be skipped means the entire key information will be stored and available, means stored in the buffer and available. That creates a problem when you are trying to use next line method. To overcome that kind of situation, we took support of parse methods. What is the advantage of parse methods means they take the data in the form of a string and they convert into numbers. That's the point. Wherever the skipping of data is coming, there you can use parse methods. So one assignment I given, I'm not writing solution now only. I am busy now. I'm entering into inheritance chapter. I'm entering being a Monday. So within 3-4 days, let us cover inheritance. It is the biggest chapter anyway. Last week I introduced references and 2 programs and 2 diagrams. The concept is one object holding reference of another object. That is a concept. So whether you can write program by your own or not, one assignment is there. There 2 are available in that assignment. Tightly coupled is there, loosely coupled is there. That assignment solution I only will write. Meanwhile, whenever you find time, you type it. When errors are coming, don't leave it. You observe once again, correct it and try something until I give the solution to you. So meanwhile, relations in Java are categorized into how many types now? 3 types. What are they now? References, inheritance, and inner classes. References, other name is what now? Interlinking of objects, or you can say as a relation. What is the relation now? As a relation, you can say. The other name is as a relation. As a means one object as a reference of another object. That's called as a relation. Today we are entering into inheritance process. We are entering. So within 3-4 days, you must get information about inheritances and that inheritance assignment also you must do. That's a target for today. Okay, right. Make a sliding being a Monday, one new concept. Inheritance in Java. Inheritance in Java, you write. In bracket, you write interlinking classes. Interlinking classes, you can write. While you are working with assignment and references, if anybody is getting a doubt, you can ask me. So doubts will come under references. The concept very important. Small concept only, but very important one. When you are practicing, any doubt comes, you have to ask me. The doubt you have to ask me. Okay, right. Sir, we constructed the class. We constructed the class here. From day one, we are taking one class and constructing the class. Suppose you take C1 only, you take class 1, you take C1. I took in the references program, no, C1. The same way you take C1. Where you can have variables, where you can have methods, where you can have constructors, where you can have blocks. This 4 components majorly. And I had one more class. Some C2. One class is there. C2. Where I can have variables, where I can have methods, where I can have constructors, where I can have blocks. Now, if you want to establish relation between these 2 classes, already first program in references, sir, object of C1 holding reference of C2. I drawn the diagram to you already. Object of C1 holding reference of C2. So that method of C1 accessing the members of C2. All of you got this point? Not only diagram. But here, don't link the objects. You link the classes. We are going to establish link between what now? Classes. We are going to link it. Sir, if I want to link 2 classes, which keyword I am using now? Which keyword I am using? Here, the keyword is extends. What is the keyword now? Extends. 2 classes are interlinked with one keyword known as extends. Now, sir, which members are available to which members? Which members are available to which members? Suppose you said C1 extends to C2. If you say the arrow, you must draw downward like this. The arrow, you are drawing the downward like this. Whenever you draw the arrow downward, the meaning members of C1 available to C2. Members of C1 available to C2. Through what keyword now? Extends. Here the terminology used by your author is, you can call this as inheritance, your other set. You can call this process as inheritance. The process of interlinking 2 classes with extends keyword and making the members of one class available to another class is known as inheritance process. Our developer, I written my developer definition, I written. My developer definition is, sir, I am constructing classes and coming now. Till last week, last 3 days, I connected objects. Now I want to connect the class. When you connect the class, the process you can call it as inheritance process. Make a definition. The process of interlinking 2 classes with extends keyword and making the members of one class available to another class. The process of interlinking 2 classes with extends keyword and making the members of one class available to another class is known as inheritance process is known as inheritance process. Is known as inheritance process. Inheritance process. Look here. Why other given the name as inheritance here? What is the reason, sir? What is the reason means? Members of C1 available to C2, but members of C2 not available to C1. Members of C1 available to C2, but members of C2 not available to C1. Your other said inheritance. Why means parent features available to child. Child features not available to parent. When you are walking in your colony, they'll say, he looks like his mother. He looks like father. They'll say. Means we took the features from father and mother, parent. Parent features will come to us, but our features will not go to parent. So it is a one way only. Understood the statement now? Because the other said this communication is a one-way communication. You can call it as inheritance because parent only, parent members are available to child, but child members never available to parent. So the C1 class by terminology, you can call it as a parent class, or you can call it as a super class, or you can call it as base class. And this class you can, if you say parent class, you must call it as child class. If you say super class, you must call it as a subclass. If you say base class, you must call it as a derived class. You can say these are the terms. Base class, derived class, terminology, C++ terminology. Our terminology is super class, subclass. Our terminology, if not parent class, child class. Now draw this diagram. This diagram, keep here. Diagram, keep here. Like this, keep on diagram and write. Done, right. Now in the inheritance process, the same thing. I'll write syntax, charger. Okay. Now syntax, this is diagram. Why means what is inheritance process? If anybody asked, draw on the paper and show. This is parent, this is child, or this is super, this is sub. That is base under. So members of that is available here. I link two classes with extents. That concept we call it as inheritance. Now C1 members available to C2. Okay. Sir, syntax, how you'll write the syntax? So syntax, class C1. Here some parent class body. means parent class members. Class C2. Class C2 extends C1. C2 extends C1. Child class body. That is syntax actually. Class C2 extends C1. Class C2 extends C1. Right. In inheritance process, we always create object for child class. What is the child class here now? C2. Make it. In inheritance process, we must create object for child class. What is the reason? Means child class object will hold members of parent. We must create object for child class. So what is the child class object here now? Syntax is C2 OB equal to new C2. We are creating object for child. Now, inheritance means interlinking classes you said. So how many interlinking of classes I can do? That is known as types of inheritances. How many inheritances types I can do? Make it. Types of inheritances. Types of inheritance. 1. Single inheritance. Single inheritance. Multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance. Right. Multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance. This inheritance chapter, more interview questions will come. More interview questions in your examination or any technical interview, more questions you expect from inheritance. It takes almost 3 days, it takes inheritance. So in that 3 days, many questions will come, many informations will come. You have to catch it. So major questions will be there in all interviews for you. Multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, hybrid inheritance, hierarchical inheritance and hybrid inheritance. single inheritance and multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance and hierarchical inheritance and hybrid. So anyway, we are going to cover them one by one, right? But before covering them, we draw the diagrams and we go forward. How the links will be there, the diagrams. So diagrams like this. Right, look here. Single inheritance means taking the members from one class at a time. This is single. Taking the members from one class at a time. This kind of representation is single. This is single inheritance. Multiple, taking the members from more than one class at a time. So here biggest question is, multiple inheritance available in Java or not? They'll ask a question. Okay, right. First you must say multiple inheritance model first. After that we are going to decide it, whether Java supports or not supports. Through practical we are going to check it. So it is this kind of diagram. Taking features or members from more than one class at a time. We call it as multiple inheritance process. Multiple inheritance. Multi-level. Multi-level means members of one class available to another class. From there they are available to another class. This concept we call it as multi-level. Nothing but your Java versions. 5 available to 6, 6 available to 7, 7 available to 8. They're all, your versions are multi-level. All your 5 features available in the 6. 6 added with new features. Old features will be there, new feature, like your mobile phone. One latest mobile phone came in the Samsung means old all features will be there. With that new features will come. So that's called multi-level inheritance. All features of C1 available to C2 and again members of C1, C2 available to C3. This kind of things we call it as multi-level inheritance. Multi-level inheritance. You can say inheritance. Now, hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchy means, example, if you take parent student. Now, students has category, Java student, Python student, category will be there. Sir, Python student. Python means normal core Python, advanced Python, full stack Python, which student. That is category coming and it's called hierarchy. Coming down like this. This kind of diagram, we call it as hierarchical inheritance. They are categorizing and coming down. This is known as hierarchical